Matt, this is sort of the backdrop for what this press conference is going to be, but what's going to be at the core of what we need to hear from Mario Draghi?
Well, what we need to hear is how he explains his lower growth forecasts. Most economists that we talk to expect him to lower those rates, and indeed, inside the ECB, sources have told us off the record that they expect that to come down, and at the same time, officially cut bond purchases from 30 billion euros a month down to 15 billion euros a month in October. Because on the one hand, you have them lowering growth rates, which is something expectations, which is something you do when the economy is doing poorly, and cutting back on quantitative easing, which is something that you're supposed to do when the economy is strong. So he's got to sort of juxtapose those two things and make it seem like they can continue on this path to raise rates at the earliest in September, right? I mean, one thing we know is they said they won't change policy rates until through the summer of next year. So that means they have to keep them steady until at least September of 2019.
So, Matt, what will be the key thing that you're looking for? And will it be, let me lead you a little bit like leading the witness, is it going to be whether Mario Draghi continues to see that the risks are roughly balanced, or whether he thinks there might be a little bit more risk to the downside given the diminishment in growth?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to be looking for what he says about the risks, but not so much the risks to growth, rather the risks to inflation. Remember, they have a target of 2%, and right now their forecasts are for 1.7% inflation this year and the next 2 years. That's not really close enough. You would expect to raise rates, and in fact, if you look at the core, it's expected to be much weaker than that. So I want to hear what he has to say about inflation. If they're going to lower their growth forecasts and leave their inflation forecast the same, that's another kind of question of why that Mario Draghi is going to have to deal with at the press conference.